We are live, as some might
Rock
say,
and
we are live
roll.
and direct.
Yes, hopefully everyone was partying for a solid 45 minutes.
We had a lot of good things to discuss, so I think it was worth the wait.
Ah, Ahmad
Yeah, I
Manga,
just
the
looked at
answer to that
the.
question is 10x. 10x a few minutes.
Yep. Uh, yeah, the
Yeah,
recordings will all
so
get posted, so don't worry too much
on
if you
YouTube,
can't
no
make it.
no spaces. We were done fighting with it.
Spaces have been such a pain in the ass. Honestly, I'm excited to not have to deal with it.
What do we got? Wananda said the 7 million plus trading volume on LeoDex in a single day gave us a new all-time high monthly volume. If that kind of volume could be a daily record, just thinking how much USDC will be earned.
Yeah, it was a
I'm with
nice
it.
day for us.
I haven't looked at my USDC earnings since a week ago. So I'm kind of doing it on purpose. I want to just like jump on a couple weeks later and see if I get surprised by a nice chunk of change or not. Leave it a mystery. Um, yeah. So I will say this. How come there's not a ton of questions stacked? Mcoin
Yeah, you guys had
79, you're
plenty of
correct.
time.
Almost an hour late. I know. That is redonkulous. Um, so I assume all the questions should be stacked. There you go. Brando said, unlike X, YouTube actually reminds me. Wins. Um, Let me scroll further down, see if there's questions.
Yeah, while you do that, let's let
Nifty.
people throw some questions in, or you
Yeah.
could read Nifty's, and then I'm going to go through the weekly update.
Yeah, no, I'm just Nifty. I'm assuming this is just him posting a screenshot of him buying a bunch of Surge.
He actually bought just enough to make it 69,420 that are left.
It's
Um,
hilarious.
so I think about 87% of all Surge is now sold out. So probably any day now, it'll be gone, because that's how these things go. Is as they run low, people accelerate and try to get in before it closes. Obviously, because of the discount, because you basically know that like if Surge is sold out today, the $50,000 liquidity pools will get set up at $1 per Surge, and Surge is selling for 73 cents right now in the pre-sale. So it's like a 35% instant profit or something like that if you calculate it based on the current entry price. So it's a
So I'm looking at the screenshot you put of Leo USDC pool.
ah
Um, that APR looks tasty.
yeah. So actually, that's interesting. Let's talk about that. So
Well, I want to talk about it because I'm almost like, why am I not doing this instead? Like, I have some stable coin right now, sitting doing nothing, kind of just I leave it as dry powder for any big Bitcoin dips. But I'm like, wait, I staked all my Leo, which obviously I'm earning yield on. But I was like, I love me some liquidity pools. I was like, is this the better play for me?
yeah, it's that's funny. It's interesting. So Maya has been having a lot of issues. Like for example, right now the Maya Leo pool is offline. And I love Maya, and I think that one day these issues will be sorted out. But that being said, there's so much demand for Leo on Arbitrum right now from the cross chain ecosystem. People that don't know anything about Leo are learning about Leo through LeoDex, and they want to buy it. Obviously, they want to buy the native version of Leo, which is on Arbitrum. Um, and due to Maya kind of intermittently being offline for the Arbitrum network, I went out and I just said, okay, let's just launch another pool on Arbitrum on another DEX, and so just so we have a backup. I don't think it's a bad thing to have redundancy. Personally, I like when there's just one pool on each chain. I think it creates a lot of simplicity. It also creates good bridge flows. But I do think it makes sense to have a stable coin LP for Leo. There actually isn't one. So This is the first stablecoin liquidity pool for Leo. So it's Leo USDC on Arbitrum, and it's on Uniswap V4. So this pool, we actually set it up in a really interesting way, and that's why the APR is so high. So there are no liquidity incentives for Leo USDC on Arbitrum, but the pool is a concentrated liquidity pool, which we can, if people want to get into the dynamics of that, we can. But it's a concentrated liquidity pool, and it has a 1% swap fee, and that 1% fee is paid to the LPs. So basically, if you do a $100 trade in that liquidity pool, it charges a $1 fee, and that $1 fee is sent to the LPs. So the APR is entirely from fully sustainable swap fees. So if there's a lot of volume, then the APR is going to be high. If there's no volume, there's going to be no APR. So it's all sustainable and driven by market dynamics. And so far, the volume in that pool has actually been very solid. So I think like relative to the depth of the pool, it's traded. I had it open somewhere. Let's see here. Relative to the pool size, or maybe I just had it in my screenshot, actually. That might be just easier to find. Let's see here.
That
just waiting for
liquidity pool is that's USDC?
Arbitrum USDC, yeah. Yeah, the current APR is 72.75%. The trading volume in the last day is $237. Over the past week, it's $930. So relative to pool depth, it's trading like 100% pool depth every week, and the fee is 1% on every fee on every trade, and that goes straight to LPs. So feel free to drop a little liquidity in there if you want. It is a concentrated LP, so if you don't know how that works, I'd recommend doing a little research. It's kind of like this. I mean, it's not that new, but it's a newer concept on Uniswap, where you can dynamically have liquidity. You don't have to have 50% of each side. So, for example, like the LP position I have is 870 USDC, and I have $3,400 worth of Leo, so 24,000 Leo against it. So you don't actually need 50-50 liquidity. You can do it asymmetrically, basically. So kind of interesting how that works. But
then that the yield pays out in USDC,
or the yield pays out as Leo and USDC. So
gotcha.
not necessarily proportionally. Yeah, here, I'll actually just share a screenshot.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, especially based on how the amount of liquidity you put up.
Right.
So that's interesting.
So it's actually based on the liquidity that you put up. So I just shared a screenshot in the Threadcast.
I mean, that dynamic pool is good because, honestly, I mean, yeah, I got to, transfer and convert and whatever. But like, let's just say I have BEP20 USDT just sitting, marinating, right, as dry powder. It's just sitting there, essentially not earning anything. So I could put essentially a disproportionate amount into that pool to work my stable coin. Obviously, I just have to convert to ARB USDC and then be earning on it. And then when, let's just say 3 months from now, if there's hypothetically a big Bitcoin dip or whatever, then I can at that point pull the liquidity, pull it out of the pool, reconvert, and then use it, to purchase crypto, as opposed to just sitting there 3 months not earning anything.
Right.
And I don't have to tie up a ton. Like, I can obviously I'll put up some Leo against it, but I don't have to put up the same amount.
Yeah, exactly. You can put up and you get to actually determine the amount based on the concentration of the liquidity that you want to provide. So basically, you can provide liquidity inside of a price band, and if the Leo pool exits your price band, then you actually are withdrawn from the LP, or your liquidity is essentially not used. So it's very concentrated liquidity pools are actually really interesting. I recommend diving into them.
Yeah, I've messed with one before.
Yeah, it's typically really good for stable coins because you can do a concentrated liquidity in like a 1 to 2 cent price band. But even for Leo, I think the price band I chose was like between 10 cents and $1. So that's why I'm able to skew the amount of USDC versus Leo that I have in that pool, because I'm pretty confident Leo won't go below 10 cents, and I'm also pretty confident that it'll go up to $1 relatively soon. And then you can always withdraw and reset your concentration of the LP. So basically, the more liquidity you provide in a tighter price band, the more your liquidity is getting used, which means the higher the LP APR is for you. So if you
Yep.
choose a really tight price band and you end up being correct, and it trades in that band, you'll actually make a shit ton of money. So it actually adds like a whole other element to trading, but for LPs specifically.
Yeah, it's always finding that sweet spot. I've done that obviously with my Bitcoin pools, like big enough range where I know they'll be working for an extended period of time, but still small enough where it makes a worthwhile yield.
Yeah.
So, all right. So in theory, I could send BEP20 USDT to one of my wallet that I've connected to LeoDex, and then would I be able to on LeoDex straight swap from BEP20 USDT into ARB USDC or no?
BEP20 USDT, yeah, you can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I actually just shared a screenshot in the threadcast of LeoDex. So I also wanted to show the part of the reason of adding this LP. Really, the driving purpose of it is, and actually, Senor Coconut just asked. You can see the screenshot I just posted before your comment. And the driving reason behind this is a lot of people, like I said, wanted to buy Leo. There's a lot of new interest in Leo, especially from the cross-chain space as they learn about Leo through LeoDex. And with the Maya pool sometimes being down, we needed to add another pool that was accessible through LeoDex. This liquidity pool is actually accessible on LeoDex already instantly. And it's accessible through the Rango and Relay routes that we have, because Rango and Relay support Uniswap on Arbitrum. So I shared the screenshot where you can see you can trade ARB USDC for Leo directly, and it uses Rango, and you can see that it's already on LeoDex. So it's pretty awesome to see that, like, the way we're building LeoDex is in a way where, as assets come out, and obviously in crypto there's new assets all the time, they're just immediately available on LeoDex. It's full user access. You get to decide what you do. It aligns with the mission of Leo, which is to democratize financial knowledge and access. And this LeoDex is obviously the access part of things. It is accessible through LeoDex.
I was just going to ask
with
the
various
senior
assets.
coconut question. Yeah, is LP accessible from LeoDex?
Yeah, and then I'm also sharing a screenshot because you just asked if you've got ARB USDT, or sorry, you said BSC USDT, and you want to go to ARB USDC. So I just dropped a screenshot of that trade in LeoDex. I'll drop the link too, because then you just click the link, it'll pre-fill. So yeah, you can do BSC USDT to Arbitrum USDC. You can see the slippage is actually super low. So it's like you're paying less than 90 cents in fees to do, and I did like a $694.
Speaking
swap.
of fees, earlier M Coins asked, it's my understanding that LeoDex is not receiving any fees from Perps right now. Is Ruggiero planning to add affiliate fees anytime soon?
Yeah, I've been talking with them. So we are the first to add Perps on any interface. There's no other interface that has Ruggiero Perps. So we're the first to add it, and we're just building up the volume. So we're helping, we're contributing, we're building our brand, and they are working on adding the ability to add affiliate fees to Ruggiero Perps. So sometime probably in the near-ish future, there's going to be Ruggiero fees for us for having the Perps. The vision behind LeoDex Perps is that right now we support Ruggiero exclusively, and we're helping Ruggiero and Thorchain build up their name and volume in the perp space. And then later on down the line, we plan to add things like Hyperliquid Perps, Aster Perps, etc. So we'll actually have a lot of different perps markets. And if you want to have a lens at how this will roll out, very similar to how we rolled out swaps. So we started with only Maya protocol swaps, and today we now have 6 different protocols for swapping. So you can swap on Maya, you can swap on Thorchain, you can do chain flip swaps, you can do Rango swaps, you can do relay swaps, and you can also do near intense swaps. So very similar rollout plan where we start with one, we refine our UI, we build the best UX that we can, and then we one by one add more and more protocols, which means adding more width to our offerings in terms of the product. So LeoDex is about making the best product we can for trading. And you may have seen the thing that we posted earlier in the week where we said LeoDex is for trading everything. I will share that in the threadcast as well. Also, and this is a good time to slip in a PSA. We're posting very heavily on X. We need to see more people from the InLeo ecosystem getting active on X. So, start talking about Leo, and I talked about it last week on the AMA. Very simple, low-hanging fruit is every time you claim USDC on LeoDex, take a screenshot and post it on X and talk about the Leo token, talk about why you're earning USDC, talk about why you hold Leo, whatever you want to say about Leo. We need more people talking about Leo and LeoDex on X and in the broader world in general, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, like TikTok. I don't care where you are. Just get out into the world and talk about LeoDex because it does help. It makes a big difference. Taskmaster has been getting very active on X, and I think it has a direct correlation to the increase in volume that we've seen lately. And now that USDC rewards are live, everybody has an interest in growing the LeoDex volume. So, the more you grow the volume, the bigger that leodex.io/Leo will get. So that's the key is grow the volume. And it's not going to grow by just one person or one team or two people or five people out there in the world talking about it. It's going to grow if 100 of us are out there constantly talking about it, constantly spreading the word, and telling people that LeoDex is the best cross-chain DEX that gives 100% of the fees back to the users. And I think that's our unique value prop.
And leverage the power of the reshare. I reshared like 3 tasks X posts over the last couple days.
Yeah.
Let him do the work for me and then just post.
Yeah, I mean, if you even repost or like comment on the LeoDex and task, the low-hanging fruit is you can take screenshots of your own stuff. You can also, you can follow the X scanner and you can share screenshots when a big trade happens. That's what task usually does. You can repost the LeoDex stuff. You can comment underneath it. Like, there's so much to do, and it doesn't really. You could spend a few minutes each day doing it, and it has a very real impact on LeoDex.
Yeah, because like more and more interaction leads to algorithm being nicer,
right?
And putting it in front of more people.
Yeah, human
interaction. New question: Where does one find the liquidity pool on LeoDex? I was searching, then I got distracted by the UI decimal point error, and I'm like, sweet, I've earned $9,000 in USDC rewards.
Yeah, we're still working on that bug. The /Leo page got a bunch of updates this week. So it's
how do we make 9K a reality?
Yeah, that's right. How do we make that a reality? Ahmad Manga said that should be easy to fix. It's not as easy as you think. It's a decimal issue with Arbitrum specifically. So,
oh my god, it just fixed.
It's related to the real time refresh. So
yeah, because I let it sit there for a while. That's funny. Yeah, it just updated. Now I'm sad. Now I've made I've made not even enough money to go to Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, that's the real-time refresh. So if you sit on the page long enough, it'll flip back and forth.
Back to the original question. Where do we find the USDC Leo liquidity pool on LeoDex?
On Uniswap. I'll drop the link.
Oh, so you have to go to Uniswap.
You have to go to Uniswap to pool. Like if you want to LP, you got to go to Uniswap. If you want to trade, you can trade on LeoDex, and you should trade on LeoDex.
Got you. Good old Uniswap.
Yeah, I just shared the link to the LP. So
nice.
You're welcome to drop some in there if you want. But yeah, I also shared a screenshot of the fees, so you can see you have to manually collect the fees, and you earn fees in both Leo and USDC, and it's based on the concentration of the liquidity you provide. So based on the way I provided liquidity, it's like a 62% Leo and 38% USDC ratio. So for every for example, for every $100 that I deploy in the LP, or for every $100 that I earn from the LP, I'll get 38 USDC, and I'll get $62 worth of Leo at whatever price Leo's at the time.
Nice.
So it's all asymmetric, but it's asymmetric, and it kind of has some game theory to it, because if you provide liquidity in a tight band and it trades within that band, you do really well. If you provide liquidity in a tight band and it goes outside of that band, then your liquidity is no longer being used, so you're not earning anything. But if you find the right sweet spot in terms of the band you're providing, your liquidity is always being provided, it's being maximally efficient, and you're earning the most fees possible. So
nice.
But yeah, it's important to get more volume in that LP. We're also trying to get Leo, the native version, listed on CoinGecko and other, like the CMC websites. And they don't track Maya, so this is also a key part of getting getting the native Leo token on all of these platforms. Is they track the Uniswap pool, but not the Maya pool. So more volume in that Uniswap pool is more better in terms of getting listed on those places. While we let some questions build up, I'm going to quickly run through the weekly recap so that I don't miss it.
Do it.
Yeah, so the weekly recap just went live on the LeoDex X account. I'm going to link it in the threadcast. Please, like I said, go like, comment. Yeah, like, comment, repost it. So, weekly update. First of all, Zcash has been hitting new all-time highs. So that's pretty awesome to see. I dove really deep into the Zcash ecosystem and the way Zec works. I also did a podcast with someone that's a core contributor, so you can go find that on the YouTube channel. Overall, like, the technology and the community behind Zcash is really incredible. Zcash is now a top 50 crypto, and honestly, I think it's going to be a top 10. I really believe that it's going to be, honestly, probably a top 5 crypto, in the long run. I think it is the ultimate private, crypto that's out there. So Zcash is actually the number 1 traded crypto on LeoDex in terms of fee revenue generated for us. So the Zcash community has been really amazing to LeoDex, and in terms of just promoting us and using us. So I just want to continue diving deeper and deeper with their ecosystem. And we were there before all this recent hype around it, and obviously there's now a ton of hype around Zcash. So I think it's pretty amazing to see all these people talking about Zcash, but it's awesome to have been there kind of when it was quiet, and then now that it's loud, it's fun to see. And I think that they deserve really all the recognition in the world. They spent the last several years just building, grinding in terms of technology and community, and the tech is incredible behind what they call shielded pools. So if you haven't learned anything about Zcash, go listen to my interview with Paku on the YouTube channel, and you can learn more about Zcash. And LeoDex, by the way, supports Zcash routes on Near Intense and on Maya protocol. So you can trade 2 different routes for Zcash, and we're looking for more ways to add features to make Zcash even better and more tradable and accessible on LeoDex. Second thing, we released a huge backend update. So this is what the dev team's been spending a lot of time on the past week. Has been building a new charting API from scratch. So the charting API, essentially the pricing that we were pulling was straight from Ruggira, and there were some gaps in the way that we were able to show the pricing. So we wanted to build a better way to do the charts, and something that was super fast and data rich. So we built this new charting API that's really, really incredible. It is a order of magnitude improvement from the old charting API. So you probably noticed before there were like gaps in the price. It would take forever to load. When you would switch the time frames, it would take anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes to load the new chart. So that's obviously not a good experience, especially for something like Perps, where speed is everything, right? So we built a whole new charting API from scratch, and it's live now on production. So you can go to leodex.io and then go to Perps, and you can see that charting API, working in real time. Also in the recap, the weekly recap I put in the threadcast, you can see the video demo of the charts, and you can see it loads like literally within a second. and then you can like scroll and you can go back in time, and it's all loading in real time. So the charting API is a masterpiece by the team. Not as easy to build as you'd think. It's a very back end heavy build out. So go try it out on the Perps UI and see if you like it. If you have any feedback, drop us the feedback so we can keep improving it. So we also talked about in the weekly recap a little bit about Leo's mission statement. So I just kind of like to remind people, why does Leo exist? Why do we do any of this stuff? And Leo's mission statement is to democratize financial knowledge and access. So in Leo, we built over the last several years was always about the knowledge part, and now LeoDex solves the access part. So we are democratizing knowledge to finance through InLeo. We're democratizing access to finance through LeoDex. And then I talked a little bit about how I was on the Mondays with Maya podcast yesterday. So if you want to go catch the recording of that, it's again linked in the weekly recap. I was talking with the Maya team about all things Maya, all things Leo, all things LeoDex. So jump in there. We talked about the weekly or the record volume where we had over $7 million in trading volume over the past week. So that's been awesome. And if you look at the 30-day volume, we've crossed the $10 million threshold. So LeoDex did over $10 million in the last 30 days in trading volume, which is amazing. So if you don't remember, when we first launched LeoDex, my stated goal was to get to $4.4 million a month in trading volume. That was the goal behind everything. I was like, if we can get there, that means that we've crossed the threshold. We're like one of the top 10 cross-chain DEX UIs. So now we're 2x that goal. So pretty amazing to see. I'll have to set some new goals soon. So look out for a post where maybe I'll put out some new goals for us in terms of like more short-term trading volume goals. Obviously now it's not only about swaps, and obviously that $10 million is only swaps, doesn't include perps, but we've also now got perps. So things are starting to accelerate and expand. And as I've always loved to say this line that my goal is not just depth but width. So depth means getting more usage of the existing products, and width means releasing more products. We're really hitting our targets and expanding, not just in terms of depth but also width. So I always love to see that. And last two things in the weekly recap: 100% of the LeoDex affiliate fees are now getting paid as USDC to all Leo stakers on LeoDex. So LeoDex is the DEX interface by the people for the people. So I'm a big believer in aligned incentives, and if the incentives are aligned, then the community can cohesively work together to grow everything. So like I said, we need you guys out on X, and if it's in your benefit to be out on X and other platforms and spreading the word about LeoDex, because if you're a Leo staker, it all feeds into itself. I also put a few kind of key bullet points about Leo for anyone that might be new into the ecosystem. So staking Leo means staking a token that is deflationary from the bridge burning, has a POL, protocol owned Leo strategy that earns USDC and flywheels it into more permanently locked Leo. And you can see that at the bottom of the page on leodex.io/Leo. Has a growing DEX web app, which is LeoDex. Leo merchants on the horizon, which is peer-to-peer payments and merchant processing using cross-chain as the backend. A social media app, which is obviously in Leo. You guys are on that in the Threadcast right now. Leo AI, which is an agentic launchpad and LLM. So obviously tying AI into everything that we do, and you guys are about to see something pretty cool in terms of a project that we've been working on for a while on the AI front. And then obviously 100% of LeoDex affiliate fees are paid as USDC daily to all Leo stakers on LeoDex. Finally, in this weekly recap is the Leo strategy update. So I talked a little bit about their latest blog post. So Surge is almost sold out. It's like 87% sold out now. And it is a fixed income instrument that they released to the market. All the raised capital is going to buy and perma-stake Leo on LeoDex for the fund. And then they use the Leo on their balance sheet to then launch more products in the future that are all backed by the balance sheet. So over the past week, they generated a 261% Leo yield, which is a similar metric to the BTC yield that's used by MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet to talk about how successful basically their strategy operations are. in very simple terms, the way that Leo yield works is you take the current amount of Leo held by the fund, and then over the course of a week, how much Leo is added to the fund's balance sheet. And the amount of Leo added relative to the existing balance sheet is the Leo yield, right? So the more Leo that gets added to the balance sheet, the higher the yield is in Leo terminology. So I shared a screenshot and then also a link to the blog post. And that is it for the weekly recap. I did it, I think, in record time. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the weekly recap. We've started doing these over the past like 3 weeks, and it's been awesome because people say that they're able to keep up with all the things we're doing. Because obviously there's so many different fronts that Leo is growing on, and it's nice to have one place where we kind of update everything.
Nice.
I do not see any new questions. I did see some people commenting on Zcash and owning it back in the day and not wanting to know what it's worth now. I'm probably in the same boat. I definitely had some Zcash in the early days. I had Cardano back then too, and some others. Yeah, I didn't even know Zcash was doing its thing of late. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's up a lot. It's up like, what is it, 4x essentially?
Damn. Well, I'm just going to ignore that because shiny object syndrome, and then I end up with too many cryptos. So, nope. Leo, Bitcoin, Leo, Bitcoin, Leo, Bitcoin. Stay focused.
Got to stay focused.
I mean, obviously, I have some other alts, but I don't need to be diluting and adding to more. Gamble.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of gambling.
Oh, Lord knows I got a little bit going on still anyway. And some bag holding. Let's see. No. What did Brando say? Which, yeah, it's basically the case. LeoDex is becoming a DEX aggregator. There's one called Ranger Finance in Solana, which chose the most suitable perp DEX to trade with. They recently added Hyperlink as well. I think it's a good path. I agree.
Yeah, we're building the everything DEX. You know, we integrate all the platforms and give users maximum optionality and obviously collect a small fee on it, and that fee goes to Leo stakers. That's the vision.
Earlier, Edwin asked, is Xscanner capturing the perpetual trading data?
No, they don't track the perps. I think at some point they'll probably add it, but like I said, you know, we're the only UI that has it now. So, you know, it'll probably take some time before that starts getting tracked on things like Xscanner.
Winanda has kind of like a fundamental question asking about the reason for the increase in the APY. Does it increase as USDC earned on trading swaps increases? It trades based on the activity and the earnings.
Right. It's all based on volume, right? Like if there's $1,000 traded in the pool every day, then like I said, the pools, the LP fee on the pool is 1%. So if there's $1,000 traded in the pool, that's $10 in LP fees that is earned by all the liquidity providers, and split based on the liquidity you're providing. So if there's $1,000 a day, then all the LPs earn $10 a day. If there's $10,000 a day in trading volume, then all the LPs earn $100 a day. If there's $100,000 a day in trading volume, then all the LPs earn $1,000 a day in revenue. That is generally, that's just the way that all LPs work. But obviously this LP has a 1% trading fee, which is relatively high. The reason why we can get away with that is because Leo is a very scarce asset, so there's not very much of it out there in circulation. You know, it's got a max supply and it's fully diluted, so it's not like there's a bunch of Leo just floating around. Liquidity is relatively low, and Leo is a pretty volatile asset. So that's why you can get away with that. For example, like a stablecoin LP, you can't really get away with a 1% fee because it's meant to trade around $1. If there's a 1% fee, everyone's losing. You've got 99 cents on the downside and upside. So it just wouldn't work very well. But if you have a highly volatile asset with a thin liquidity layer, then you can get away with very high LP fees, which is great for LPs. And then anyone trading it, well, you need a venue to trade it, and you're willing to pay 1% fee because there's not many venues to trade it with deep liquidity.
Right on.
So yeah, the APR in that pool is like 70. What did I say earlier? 72% or so.
Scrolling through the threadcast. I mean, I'm sure there's a question somewhere that I missed, but way earlier, Brando asked, when Surge and LSTR on base?
Good question. Soon. Yeah, that is one when that I can't give a confident soon on because I'm not in control of anything. But if I had to predict, sometime within, once the Surge pre-sale is done, I would assume it would launch, at least within a day of the Surge pre-sale being done. So I know that the big thing that was being worked on is the cross-chain market makers. What I've been fascinated by is watching the cross-chain market maker working on Leo. So it's already live. So at this point, I would say it's probably being held up by when is the cross-chain market maker going to be ready for LSTR and Surge, which really could be any day now. I would assume it's all about tweaking the current cross-chain market maker related to Leo to make it as efficient as possible so that when it does go live, because it's basically, right now it just runs on all the Leo pairs, it's basically the same code base and it'll just run on the Surge and the LSTR pairs. So getting the kind of core code base as perfect as possible is the key, because once that's ready, then everything's ready. So then you launch, LSTR and Surge on base. Now you've got cross-chain LPs. And Leo Strategy will be generating revenue not just from market making Leo, but from market making LSTR and Surge, and then all the HE pairs as well. John goes here. We can party now. Welcome. We can.
Leave it to Django to show up right as the party's ending. I think we're all caught up. So, it's nothing else. I'm gonna dip and go get something to eat.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry too. I think we are. I think we're all good. Yeah, we all seem to be caught up.
Bitcoin made a new all-time high since the last show, so that didn't suck.
Yeah, new all-time high yesterday. Markets dipping today. We hit what was it? 126K was where Bitcoin topped out. 126.5, and Bitcoin's now at 121. So enjoy the volatility.
Right. I know. And, I'm so ashamed at how ridiculously lazy I can be, because last night I looked at the Bitcoin chart and I was like, wow, that's a lot of green days in a row. We're pretty pulled away from the 10-period moving average. I was just like, this would be an awesome opportunity to test out the perps and put a short on Bitcoin, because, we'll probably get some kind of pullback just as, profit taking. We're so overstretched. And I was, looking on my phone on my couch watching Monday Night Football, and then continued to be lazy and did not get off my couch and did not do the position, which is sad face because clearly, hindsight, but, I'd be in the green 4,000+ points or whatever it is. Yeah, about 4,000 points from when I looked at it. So, because it was pretty close towards the top. So
yeah, I did actually put a short on Perps, so I'm pretty
nice.
I'm pretty happy with myself. So it's fun to be able to trade Perps on LeoDex.
I'll be honest. Like, if I already had, I had to move coin. If I already had USDC sitting on my wallet that I got connected with LeoDex, then I probably would have done it. But the thought of having to move and convert coin, I'm like, I don't feel like doing all that.
You got to swap using LeoDex. That's the whole point.
Which cost me money.
There you go. You're right, Senor Coconut. Laziness will kill. Just took money out of my pocket. It is what it is.
Yeah, I actually am doing a little funding rate arbitrage on LeoDex, so that's been fun.
Interesting.
Basically, you can long or short in one perps market, and then if the funding rate can be arbitraged, you either go long or short on one perps market, and then do the opposite on LeoDex's perps. So,
yep, makes sense. Cool. All right. Well, I don't think I saw anything else come in. Nope. So, until next time, What do we got next week? Middle of the month. Right on.
Yeah, October 14th.
The year's flying by.
It really is. It's pretty wild. It's been a crazy year. A lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
But from the fire, we rise. Or what is it? From ashes, we rise. Someone make a GIF of a phoenix turning into a lion.
Right, rise like the phoenix.
Yeah, rise like a phoenix, but give it a lion head.
Right.
Yeah, things have been rough but great this year. So we went through some hard times, and then I think things are really starting to look up for the whole Leo ecosystem in a lot of ways. LeoDex and expanding to somewhere that encourages innovation has been really fun. So I'm having a good time with everything. I hope you guys are. I mean, this is really feels like a new beginning in many ways. Something that I think our ecosystem deserves. I think we just keep grinding from here. The volume shows that we're doing the right thing. So we will just keep pushing in that direction, and the volume will be our KPI. So thanks, Mitch, for co-hosting. Thanks everybody for joining.
No doubt.
We'll see you October 14th.
Rock and roll.
Peace out.
Later.